For thousands of years, one animal hunted us, and we hunted it. We competed for the same food, the same land, the same chance to survive another winter. By every law of nature, humans and wolves should have become eternal enemies. But they didn't. Instead, something almost impossible happened. A predator with razor-sharp teeth and a fragile species armed with little more than fire and curiosity formed one of the greatest partnerships in Earth's history. Today, that ancient alliance sleeps on our couches, waits patiently by our doors, follows us through our happiest moments, and has become humanity's closest companion. But here's the mystery. How did two species that once feared each other become best friends? How did thousands of years of conflict slowly transform into thousands of years of loyalty? The answer doesn't begin in a castle or a village. It begins in the freezing wilderness. More than 15,000 years ago, the world they shared was unimaginably harsh. Ice covered vast stretches of land. Food was never guaranteed. Every hunt carried the risk of failure. For both humans and wolves, survival depended on making the right decision every single day. Then something extraordinary may have happened. Instead of attacking one another, a few wolves began lingering near human camps, not to fight, but to feed on the scraps left behind. The boldest wolves gained an easy meal. The calmest humans gained an unexpected warning system against approaching danger. At first, neither species trusted the other. Every encounter was filled with caution. Every step carried uncertainty. But survival has a way of changing impossible relationships. As the seasons passed and generations came and went, fear slowly gave way to curiosity. Curiosity became tolerance, and tolerance quietly became trust, laying the foundation for a friendship that would eventually change both species forever. But this wasn't a story of humans taming wolves by force. It was something far more remarkable. The wolves that stayed closest to people weren't the strongest. They weren't the fiercest. They were the least afraid. Generation after generation, those calmer wolves survived, raised pups, and passed on their gentle temperament. At the same time, humans began favoring the wolves that barked at danger, helped during hunts, and remained loyal to the group. Without realizing it, both species were slowly shaping each other's future. Scientists call this co-evolution, two different species changing together over thousands of years. The terrifying part is this. As wolves became more social with humans, humans also became better at understanding wolves. We learned their signals. They learned ours. Trust grew stronger with every generation. It wasn't just wolves evolving beside us. We were evolving beside them too. And together, both species were becoming something neither could have become alone. Then something changed that no one could have predicted. The bond between humans and wolves became more than survival. It became communication. Long before spoken language grew complex, both species learned to read one another through movement, posture, and expression. A raised tail, a steady gaze, a cautious step. These silent signals carried meaning without a single word. Over time, they no longer needed to rely only on instinct. They began responding to each other's intentions. Modern studies even show that dogs can follow a human pointing gesture better than wolves raised by people. Some can also make eye contact in ways that trigger the release of oxytocin, the same hormone that strengthens bonds between parents and children. But here's what's strange. This wasn't simply humans teaching wolves. It was two different minds slowly learning how to understand each other. One learning to trust, the other learning to care. And that mutual understanding would become one of the most extraordinary partnerships evolution has ever produced. But perhaps the greatest transformation didn't happen in the wild. It happened inside the mind. Over thousands of years, wolves became dogs, not by losing their instincts, but by redirecting them. The drive to hunt became a desire to work beside us. The need to protect a pack became the instinct to protect a family. And humans changed as well. Our brains became remarkably good at reading canine emotions. A wagging tail, lowered ears, a cautious posture. We learned that these movements carried meaning. What once seemed like random behavior became a language we could understand. And our responses became a language dogs could understand too. The remarkable part is this: two completely different species developed a shared emotional language, not through words, but through trust. A bond strengthened by thousands of shared days, shared dangers, and shared victories. And that trust became stronger than fear, creating a friendship that has endured for thousands of years. But the most astonishing discovery wasn't about wolves at all. It was about us. Brain scans reveal that when people look into the eyes of a dog they love, regions associated with attachment, reward, and social bonding become active. Dogs show similar biological responses toward the humans they trust. Some researchers believe this connection helps strengthen cooperation, making both species more successful than either could have been alone. Think about that for a moment. An alliance that began around campfires may have quietly shaped the course of human history. Without wolves, many early hunts might have failed. Without humans, those wolves may never have become the companions we know today. Together, they helped each other survive in a world that offered few second chances. Perhaps neither species changed the other by accident. Perhaps we grew stronger because we grew together. And maybe the oldest friendship in human history wasn't built through power, but through the simple decision to trust. So, how did humans and wolves become best friends? The answer wasn't a single moment. It wasn't one act of kindness, or one extraordinary discovery. It was thousands of years of small choices. One species choosing curiosity over fear, the other choosing trust over instinct. Together, they created something evolution had rarely seen before. Two completely different species, changing each other's future. Today, every dog, resting beside a fireplace, or waiting patiently at a front door, carries the legacy of an ancient wolf that made one impossible decision: to trust a human. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson this story leaves behind. Sometimes, history isn't changed by the strongest. It's changed by those willing to trust the unknown. Because one small act of trust, repeated over generations, can change the destiny of an entire species. So now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you had lived 15,000 years ago, and a wild wolf slowly walked toward your camp for the very first time, would you have welcomed it or chased it away? More importantly, why do you think your choice would have changed history?